Hi, everyone. It's Kim Stanwood Terranova here at Rhythmia. So happy you're joining us today. We're enjoying a beautiful, beautiful day in Costa Rica, loving every moment. And I'm very grateful and excited that I have two fabulous guys here that have spent the week. They're kind of giving me that smirk when I describe them as fabulous guys, but they are James and Tim. And the beauty of these two is that uncle nephew, and I get to just slide right in here and be with them for this 20 minutes. So thank you for joining us. I want to welcome you both. Where are you from?
New York, suburbs, and live in the city.
Perfect.
California, Northern California.
Lovely. Now, the question of the day, how did you get your uncle to Rhythmia?
I have no idea. How did I don't even know if I did. What happened?
I'd like to say that you got me to Rhythmia, but after being in Rhythmia for a week, I got me to Rhythmia.
Perfect.
You were the vessel. There was a reason. I was on a college trip with my daughter and to visit, and we ended up we were in New York and visiting my brother. Mm-hmm. And Jim invited himself to every event, all three meals. And so Jim and I had a little extra time. And so he kind of planted the seed.
We talked about that.
You did. And that's when you first put the bug in my ear, and you were, and so I started to listen to it. Well, that's what happened.
I wonder what I said.
You said you should check this out, Uncle Tim in Costa Rica. I'm going down on May, because remember I was in New York in April. Right. So anyway.
Was he different than other times? That's what I'm catching when you say like you caught something from him. Because James has been here a few times.
No, when I say I caught something, it wasn't that he was different per se. It's just that he mentioned it. And I'd like to think that I'm on my own spiritual journey. And so I listened to what he said. And I happened to know at the time that I had the time to go during that period of time. I didn't tell him that at the time. And then since then, he sent me a series of text messages that were provocative and that were inspiring to me. And then I went online, and then I called, and I had many conversations with some of the Rhythmia folks in Miami, which was also, and so then I put a deposit down, and then I just started getting deeper. And then I guess I said to myself, I'm going on this trip. There's a reason that he brought this up.
Yes.
And he was the inspiration, but the reason I'm here was because of me. So I had a calling to come here. That's the only way I can describe it.
Love that.
But he helped me.
Thank you for listening.
Sure.
Now, how many times have you been here?
It's my fourth this week.
So how is this week different than other weeks? And how is it with your uncle here with you?
Let's see. So I think every time I come here, I basically come out of whatever closet I used to be living in. In all kinds of ways. And so it's just, I think I've gotten so much more open with jokes, friendliness, silliness, affection, just telling what's my true story about whatever. And then having an uncle here. Really fun at first, so exciting. That someone in my family would come to this, because I thought that would never happen. And it's hard because you have such incredible weeks here. It's so personal, it's so meaningful. And then for a lot of us, we can go home to family or friends, and it's like they don't seem to get it, not too interested, quite possibly judging it. And you have such a special experience you're dying to share, and you're not getting to. Which of course, that's its own journey in its own right. So I was so excited to have him here. Couldn't believe someone in the family would come. And then I think our, just the differences in our personality would pop up. So we'd have dynamics to navigate during the week. And I'd say that part actually got more intense as the week went on. And
got to know each other better.
In all kinds of ways that we didn't know each other before, which was awesome.
How beautiful.
And I think he will be a much better ambassador to the family than I've been about what the experience here is like.
How come do you agree with him?
Yeah.
And for what reason do you think that your uncle will be a better ambassador? And what reason do you think? Both of you share that, please.
I think they've written me off as crazy. And I don't think they see me as coming from a perspective that they want to partake in.
Understood. Okay.
Well, from my perspective, I live on the West Coast, and the rest of my family's on the East Coast, and so I'm not attached to everything their lifestyle as much. Although I do have one I have one solid foot in that world, in the financial world, and my job and everything that I've done. But I don't want to use the word more open-minded because that's judgmental by definition. I want to just say that I'm on my journey is perhaps just more further advanced, or again, that's a judgmental word. It's just that I'm guess more open to this. And
so how are you going to describe this?
That's an interesting thing, because this was cathartic. It was so different. It was so all-encompassing that I'm going to limit my discussion to just that. And what I'm really interested is what other people think of me as to how I'm going about and living my life, and if they notice changes. But I'm certainly not, I'm not on a mission to change anyone's mind or convince anyone of anything other than
you're more interested in living it.
I'm more interested in my relationship with myself, and what happens, what comes out of that, hopefully will manifest itself with others. So that's kind of my deal.
And I love what you just said, because I want you to go into what you said before the camera started rolling about what was the miracle you received here that was in alignment with that, like who you've become in the time, or what you discovered for yourself.
Yeah, in terms of who I become, I had a handle on who I become, because I think about it a lot. But I also felt that one of the reasons I came is because I felt a little trapped in my life as to what I've become, but what can I be? And I felt almost like in a cage that I haven't been able to take myself to the next level, and on many fronts. And so the miracle for me was just the daily routine and the breakdown of those constructs. And I guess the true enlightenment was to just see how the constructs were there, how I have removed them, and now I look at it as a way to move forward and kind of navigate that and get out of the cage. And so it's been each event, including the Novacell event this morning, and the meditative quality of that was as profound as anything else I've done here. So I have breathing tonight, and so
I love how you describe that, though. I'm out of the cage.
Yeah,
like breaking down elements to get out of the cage of what we put ourselves in.
And the other thing, the most important thing probably is understanding the relationship between the mind and the soul. You can't say enough about that, because the mind is what creates all the constructs, creates all the busyness, creates all the things that have served you to protect you for your entire life. They're not serving me now.
Ooh, good awareness.
And I've learned that, and my thinking is that not to remove it, but as a tool. And my heart uses that to live my life, and that's where it comes from. It doesn't come from my brain any longer.
Wow. Amazing. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, for you.
Did I just say that?
You said all that. You said it really well. You said that really well. And that's beautiful to know that shift can happen in 1 week here from all the different aspects. I'm hearing you say, through all the different journeys that you were upon this week, everything you touched brought this consistency of, I'm out of this cage. Okay, how about for you?
What the miracle for the week is? I think of at least 3. One of them for sure, and every time I've worked with plant medicine, there's been a journey in reconciling with my own masculinity. And I grew up under my dad and this guy, and they were, my experience of it was they were like these paragons of masculinity, like just macho and outgoing and confident and fun. And, like we said before, like I don't quite keep up that way. It's not my thing. And I felt inferior for it growing up. And I always wanted to be able to, I think, to connect with my dad in that way. And ironically, I connect with him more that way now than ever, because I stopped giving a shit about him. Yeah. I know that's harsh and strong, but you kind of get what I mean. And we get along better than we've ever gotten along. And I would have things where I had this old belief like that I just had to be 100% straight. And then the medicine would always, it'd take me through all my experiences with women in my life, et cetera. And then it'd have a moment where it'd show me, hey, you could be attracted to a man too. And my old ego did not want to hear that. And that was, and then every time I would surrender to that, sometimes the medicine would have me, for 30 minutes going to full on just believing I'm gay. And I'd have to surrender to it. And it'd feel like, well, there's my life now. God, and then what would happen? And I never hear this journey described. Whenever people have questions about their sexuality, I feel like they're always just assumed to be secretly gay, let's say. And then I would always have this like rebound back to women and my connection with women even stronger once I allowed. And so I was joking with some friends here this week. It's almost like the gayer I let myself be, the straighter I get. And it's like I get so much access, and this is just one of so many spectra, where I realize how okay it is to be on all sides of it.
Because when you're open and available to, I'm just going to see what's and we take out the perceptions, the judgments, the holding something back, then anything can be possible. And then we're in a higher volume of choice, don't you think? Or
it's just, this one's up to heart. So it's not about who and what do I want to choose. I'm going to listen for where heart guides me and have the courage to follow it. And that's going to resolve my love
that's
life.
Profound. That's profound. Like you come to Rhythmia and get that.
Oh, yes.
That's profound.
There's a yes. And, another one I'll throw in is just like the logic of synchronicities. The whole world we come from, it's A, B, C, D, E. Everything's supposed to be linear. But the medicine is constantly showing you these synchronicities and symbols. And the more I spend time with it, I realize that's actually what the hell is true. And it's indescribable to someone who's in a purely, A, B, C, D, E mind. But as long as I live my life according to that logic in the past, I ended up so alienated and unhappy. As I open up to this, like life is becoming magic. And I'm feeling so guided and so empowered and connecting with people like I just never have before.
Okay, right there.
It's incredible.
Life is becoming magic.
Yeah.
I'm out of any sense of a cage. I'm seeing a perception of all that's possible. Those are huge, huge, huge miracles in 1 week. So you're descriptive of if you're telling someone about Rhythmia, what else would you, in those miracles, what do you notice this week that was important about all the elements that you participate? Because I'm sensing these insights didn't come, it just happened in this moment. It was like all of them. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Totally cumulative for me.
Oh, yeah. But you're always reading who you're talking to. How far can it land? The first thing I usually say about plant medicine is it's basically 6 months to 10 years of therapy in a night.
I love that descriptive. I do.
And then I think I told you some of what happens here, and then I think we got here in the week, and you said, "Hey, there was a little more here than what you told me." So I don't know how I told it to you.
In that way, in that vein.
Yeah.
And
what else? What other touches besides in the medicine? Then what else? What else do you know where there was moments of like, go to yoga class?
The way everything has been synchronized, there wasn't any time for me to leave my reflection. In other words, you just get up in the morning, you go exercise or I'm sorry.
Great sentence. There wasn't any time for me to leave my reflection.
There wasn't.
Thank you.
And even just being tired was, I wasn't tired. And so the days were full. I would start with your class, and I always enjoyed your class very much, and I got a lot out of it. And that was kind of my springboard into the day. And every single thing I did, from meditation to the plant medicine and the all the other, the breathing, the breath work. And then I decided to do the Nova Cell thing, which I just did an hour ago, which is incredible. And I like to call that the cherry on the cake. Jerry Powell is the who runs the show here. So that was the cherry on the cake.
Instead of the cherry on the cake, we got the Jerry on the cake is the Nova Cell. He's going to love that.
We're making t-shirts. I talked to him.
Nova Cell t-shirts. We got baby cells running around in your body right now.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
So yeah, and I'm very excited. I have chronic pain and arthritis and basically it's inflammation. Some comes with age and everything, and genetics, and I have great hopes that some of that chronic pain will be relieved.
It will.
So,
I'm excited.
I believe.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, what would you say? What's your cherry on top of the cake?
Oh my
Or is it still a
gosh.
cherry on top of the cake?
The cherry on the cake.
It's whatever you want.
What's
No,
yours?
I mean, there's something I could go for, but even just hanging around Jerry is different. I've gone to a lot of Tony Robbins seminars, and another piece I got to work through in these since the times I've been here is there was something about older, powerful men. But I think on some subconscious level, I was working through issues with my dad. And I've told you, my relationship with my dad is so good now. We have so much fun. But I would get all awkward around Jerry when I was here 2 years ago. And when I go to Tony Robbins seminars, I get weird around him. And something just wasn't flowing. And it's just, you can't even quite explain it sometimes, but it's just a flow now. And we just had lunch with Jerry, and it was a ball. And instead of idolizing him and putting him on some pedestal, and then I get weird around him, like it's just fun, you know? And
this is like freedom. The two of you feel like you're standing fully in your freedom.
Well, you used to idolize me, and now you feel more comfortable, correct?
Correct. There's not.
I still idolize you, though. I do. So I have to be honest about that. I don't know what I'm going to do when you guys leave because I'm going to still be idolizing.
Yeah, this week took him off the pedal. No,
The pedestal.
I'm kidding. I'm playing.
You can put it back on. You can put it
Off
back
the
on.
pedal. Not the pedestal.
I love this. So what would you tell anyone who's thinking about, wow, it's Rhythmia for me? What
It's
would you say?
interesting because the healing part of this cannot be overstated. It is pretty dramatic, and I happen to know some folks that have had some real drama in their lives, and I'll make the pitch at the appropriate time. But I mean, like death and that sort of thing, and so that's when I might get more aggressive in my approach and pitching coming here.
Good.
So that's I'm just gonna. I really am still processing the whole thing.
Sure.
And so I'm going to be really curious to see where a week from today, next Saturday, where I really am, and that will also guide me. So I don't want to set too many parameters as to how I'm going to go forward. I just know I'm going to go forward.
I just know I'm going to go forward. What would you say to anyone that's thinking about coming to Rhythmia?
Yeah, your heart wants to be here. Your heart knows what kind of healing is possible here, and it knows it wants so much more than what it's currently accessing in your life. And then your head is afraid of judgments, your financial situation. Is it going to fit into my calendar? All this stuff. Your head will come up with all the reasons not to, because that will seem safer. But if you can feel your heart calling you, I don't care if it's people, job, money, whatever. If the heart is calling you, do it. And I guarantee you will not regret it. Yeah, it will be the utter opposite. And I've been here 4 times. I've probably gone through this process with 250 people or something. Yeah. And I just see, and I keep in touch with so many of them. And that's just a story I see every time.
Okay. I want to make sure everyone catches that. If your heart is pulling you, because you two, like your hearts are blown open right now. And I get to be with you all week long and watch this and watch just layers peel off of every level to be free. And I think as you do go home, that part is, if your heart is telling you, that's what's going to lead forevermore on your way home. And it is going to change and it is going to keep unraveling. And you just might come back with your nephew again.
Yeah, we're doing it again.
Great.
Next year.
You have to, because I'll be idolizing you. So you have to come back. So I can be like, hey, they're here.
I'm open.
No singles, right? Shared room.
Okay.
Shared room. Perfect. All right, good.
I did want to get my own room, but I got hijacked. So anyway, it was great. It was great. And it was better that we shared a room. Yeah, because we we're in the room that much, and totally, so it's.
All right. So before I bless us, is there anything else you wish to say to people? Anything that's bursting out of you?
If you think you should come to Rhythmia, that means you should come to Rhythmia, because something's telling you that you need to come to Rhythmia. How about that? There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, I'd say the simple is follow your heart. But what I can add is what I've learned through plant medicine. In addition to all the cosmic wonder experiences, unbelievable people and friends you make here, insight, self-love, love for others, you're also learning to suffer and to surrender and to die. And as hard as that sounds, as you learn to do that, your relationship to everything in life becomes totally different. And then you can start to access everything you actually freaking want.
Ooh, yes, perfect. Perfect. When we surrender and are willing to suffer and die, then we're reborn.
Yeah.
And in reborn, we get freedom. So we welcome you to Rhythmia. We hope to see you soon. I hope I get to see you here very soon. And thank you for being with us. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, James. Are they just perfect? I'll put them both on a pedestal. All right. Have a great day.